Hi, Panther fans. So, how we doing? Been a long summer. Long, successful summer. So, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Panthers, Predators, Game 1 is at 4 o'clock right now, coming up. Game 2 starts at 8. As of right now, as of this recording, I haven't decided whether I'm going to do a live stream or not for the second game. Depends on how my eyes and everything handle the first game. So, obviously it's a split squad because playing two different games. I'm going to put the lineup here on the screen for the first game here. So you see Barkov's playing. I'm happy that actually the second game is going to feature Spencer Knight and Matthew Tkachuk. Couple of things of interest there. You've got a Gudas-Kiersted pairing. I'm interested to see how Kiersted looks. And Eric Staal is really going to get an opportunity. And that's Luosterainen's job, basically, is 4C. And my concern has been that, well, we all know the cap situation that we're in. Right now, Eric Staal's just on a PTO. He doesn't count against the cap. To even sign Eric Staal, somebody would have to go. So my concern is that Maurice is going to give Staal such an opportunity that either it makes Maurice think that Luosterainen or Hornqvist is expendable, and that's how he fixes the cap situation. So I'm not exactly rooting against Eric Staal, but I'm going to be awfully disappointed if we end up with Staal on this team and it ends up meaning Luosterainen is out the door. So find a different way, guys. Find a different way. But we'll see how he looks. The guy hasn't played in a while. But coaches, as a lot of people have noted, Maurice likes his veterans. So we'll see how that goes. Bobrovsky's in net to start the game. We'll see. I like to see him. I like to see him look good and then get the hell off the ice. You know what I'm saying? And Ekblad is paired with Forsling. So we'll talk a little bit more as the game gets on. And there's no 2 points here. There's no intro. There's nothing fancy. We're just starting up the engines, just like the Panthers. So let's get it going.
Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go!
Puck drop. And 3, 2, 1,
Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go! Go!
All right, so just the way I like to see it, right? Exactly how we drew it up. Radko Gudas has committed 3 penalties, not like that's his normal thing. I mean, he takes his penalties, but usually it's for roughing and crap like that. So he's had 3 penalties, and Bobrovsky looks like he's in mid-season form. I would be completely fine if he doesn't play again until opening night. He looks fine. He looks good. Keep him healthy. Stay the hell off the ice. The only goal of the period is my good friend Eetu Luosterainen with a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful behind the legs, between the legs, and then banked it to the top corner, short-handed goal. Mwah! Perfect. So, Eric Staal's been on the ice a lot. I'm not going to lie about that. He doesn't look terrible. Luosterainen's going to have to really win this job. He's off to a good start. We'll just put it that way. So it's 1-0. What else did we see? The PK looked decent. The couple of times that we got stuck on our own zone, was the Gustav-Kiersted combination. They don't look too fast. Now, Kiersted on the penalty kill was out there trying to box guys out and keep them out of the crease. I kept my eye on him. He looks a little bit stronger, maybe a little bit stouter than he did in the past. And other than that, it's a preseason game, and defeat is standard def. So we'll do the best we can. For those of you who are watching the stream and wondering how are you seeing it, welcome to the 1980s and the 1990s of trying to watch hockey. that was what we dealt with. Y'all are spoiled with the high definition feed. Not going to lie about that. All right, let's see who. Let's see if Bobrovsky plays second period. Move on. It's not 2 points though. We're not doing that. All right, so we're tied at 2 after 2. Apologize for the little noise in the background. My water softener decided to start during the summer. I can leave it on during the middle of the afternoon, but now with the season, I'm going to have to adjust the schedule. All right, so what did, well, my bad. That's my bad. I praised Bobrovsky in the last period as though I haven't learned a thing in the 7 years I've been doing these videos. And sure enough, he gives up not 1 but 2 weak goals in the second period, and we're tied at 2. The goal that we got, Kai Schwint, was a dribbler. You could hardly even call it a goal. I mean, it went in the net, but it dribbled past the goalie, and so maybe both goalies aren't in midseason form just yet. Now, at the middle of the period, Bobrovsky out, Guzda in. That's a planned thing. They only play half the game. The only other thing I'll say so far, you can't watch it like it's a team, right? Because these are guys that have not played together and are not going to be playing together. This is really about individual performances. Couple of things I've seen so far. Radko Gudas looks bad. But, that's not the really biggest concern. We know what kind of player he is. He's going to be fine. What I can say is that if Eric Stahl makes this team, we have a problem at head coach. I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now before the first game is even over. There should be absolutely no reason whatsoever. He does not look good at all. He looks like a guy who hasn't played in a couple of years and is too old. Because he's too old because he hasn't played in a couple of years. You see what I'm saying? Just no. It was a nice story. The brothers are here, but no, just big fat no. And Luosterainen's out there. He's playing really well. He had that hell of a goal in the first period. So, every year, to answer the question, a lot of people were wondering, well, when now that Yandel's gone and Uyghur's gone, who's going to be the whipping boy? Who's going to be who we all pick on? Well, if Eric Stahl makes this team based on what we've seen on the ice so far, there's your new whipping boy. He does not look, he's not an NHL caliber player anymore. He had a great career. That's the end of that. We'll move on to the third period. Finish this up. I'm hoping to not have to run the Matthias clip just yet. It's a little early on in the season for that.
We are going to overtime!
Hi, Panther fans. So, I had Matthias all loaded up. I had his "we're going to the shootout" all loaded up just about the press tweet. And with, I guess, a half of a second, a third of a second left, Barkov wins the game in overtime 4-3. So, all right, I got to make this quick because we got another game coming up here in less than an hour. I'm going to have a full review tomorrow of both games, but I'll give you a little bit of what I saw here today in terms of individual play. I already talked about Mark Stahl. I like the pairing of Shalin and Kinu. I'm just going to call him Kinu on defense. They look pretty good. Certainly, Shalin looked better than Kierstead. I was not impressed with Kierstead's play, although there were a few times he was trying to box guys out in the crease. Both times the puck ended up in the back of the net. Not exactly his fault, but it's never a good look when you're on the ice for most of the goals that are scored. Luosterainen was really flying around out there. Denisenko, Heponiemi had a few chances. Didn't do anything with them. I think it was Heponiemi had a shot in overtime, believe. That didn't go in, obviously. What else did we see out there? Augusta looked pretty good. Made some nice stops. He moves pretty well. I like him. He's huge. He's like 6'5", so it's good to have another goaltender in the pipeline there. Trying to think. Verhaeghe didn't really have, the top guys, Verhaeghe, Barkov, they were just kind of coasting around out there like you would expect. No big deal. Lomberg looked like he was ready to play. He definitely looks like a guy who feels like he's fighting for a spot on the team. And the Gudas-Kiersted pairing, again, that experiment needs to be over. It was not good to see. And Ekblad Forsling, they look good. They look like they should, right? One thing of note, early on in overtime, I believe it was in overtime, Barkov got leveled in front of the net. I don't think he was expecting it to be too physical, and somebody knocked him right on his ass. So, all right, so we win 4-3. Like I said, I'll have a more in-depth review. I could do a whole hour on the broadcast itself, and I know it's just the stream. It's not overly professional, but it was very frustrating because what they would do, they don't have the highlights ready instantly like they do on a network, right? So a goal would be scored, and then instead of like showing what's on the ice, they're getting the highlight ready, so they would just immediately put up a graphic of Nashville and Florida logos and just leave it on the screen with all these different little graphics and whatnot going on, and you're sitting there just waiting to see a replay. So, I get it's not network, but there was a few times where they're like trying little gimmicky things out, and not a huge fan of that. So, all right, Panthers get no points. We don't do points here, okay? They win the first game 4-3. I got to get ready to do the second game here. That's where we're going to see Spencer Knight, Alex Lanigal, and we're going to get our first look at Matthew Tkachuk as a Florida Panther. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll see you guys in about 3 hours.